Hello there. What is going on, everyone? Today we're going to be talking about Anakin Skywalker for Star Wars Armada and why he's sort of the bane of the game's existence right now, and maybe ways to run him without him being so problematic. Like what's good, what's bad, and everything in between. So if you guys are new here to the channel, we talk a lot about Star Wars tabletop games, games like Star Wars Armada, X-Wing, Legion, Star Wars Shatterpoint, and more. So I'd love to have you stick around. We are currently doing a $25 Amazon gift card giveaway. All you have to do to be to enter to win that is to be a subscriber and leave a comment on this or one of my videos. It's as simple as that. So Anakin Skywalker showed up in Rapid Reinforcements 2 to Star Wars Armada. Now, this is a print-and-play home expansion, if you guys are unfamiliar with Rapid Reinforcements. And basically, he's a commander. And again, I wanted an Anakin Skywalker very, very badly. But he's a commander for the game, and he is for the Republic, and he has 3 abilities, and they're insane. And I think any one of them would have been very good. But the fact that he has 3, and at the price point he's at for 29 points also is pretty interesting. So let's just talk about what he does, and then we'll go from there. So first part is when a friendly ship performs a salvo attack, it may add 1 die to its attack pool of a color already in its attack pool. So basically he gets to add a die to salvo. He's breaking the salvo rule, and that's cool. He also says once per activation, after a friendly ship performs an attack that targets an enemy ship, that friendly ship may spend a salvo defense token. If it does, it may perform a salvo attack targeting the same enemy ship. This one is a lot to unpack and is kind of worded imprecisely and makes me think of a lack of foresight and a lack of playtesting, just because of a lot of little things in here that that kind of bug me. But it's a cool ability. It says that basically you can attack, and then after your attack is done, you can spend a salvo token and do another attack. But it's going to be a salvo attack. That second ability gets to feed into the top ability, which means, oh, by the way, these combo together because now, since it's a salvo attack, I can add a die. So, you know, typically people run Anakin on Venators. And Venators have 3 dice, and there's lots of ways to make sure that you can roll all 3. Anakin gets to add an extra die. So it's a 4-die attack, usually featuring some blue and black dice. So it's usually 2 black, a blue, and a red. It's typically that attack that will the Anakin's kind of try to make, which is a very big, nice attack, considering it's a bonus attack. And considering that you can do your front attack and a side attack, and then a salvo attack. That makes it a very extremely powerful ability. And not only that, but it combos very, very well with a lot of new upgrades that are available to the Republic, and Anakin ships can be built to be extremely fierce. But it's not just Anakin's ship itself, it's your entire fleet. But there's a third ability to this. And this ability was sort of manifested as a result of FAQ entries and answers on the official Asmodee sites and Atomic Mass Games site for asking questions for their rules forum. And because when you're defending, if this is a salvo attack that you make, you can double salvo, basically. And because it's once per activation, well, if it's a friendly ship, if it's an enemy ship's activation, then that's their activation. If they attack you and you salvo, you can then double salvo. And there's a lot of reasons that doesn't seem like it was intended, or it doesn't seem like it would work, but it actually does. Because if you salvo, you spend that defense token. You can't spend it again immediately. But because this says after the attack, right, after a friendly ship performs an attack after. So now the window is over. Now a whole new window has begun, and you can now spend that defense token again. So you can double salvo with Anakin, which is crazy. Even if you were to get, it's just kind of crazy to me. So even if you were to get destroyed, right? Well, I guess if the first shot destroys you, well, you can't be destroyed from a salvo. You're not, because you can't salvo a salvo. So yeah, if you're getting destroyed, you kind of salvo twice, I suppose. Well, I guess if the one shot kills you, you salvo back. I don't know if you can double salvo on the shot that kills you, because the after window, But either way, he's kind of insane, because of the fact that it's 3 abilities. All of them are good. Like, if you just had a commander that said you could double salvo, that would be really strong. If you just had a commander that added a die to salvo attacks, that would be moderately strong. That wouldn't be like game-breakingly strong, but that would be moderately strong. Maybe not strong enough for Anakin if that was the only thing, but that would be strong. But the ability to spend a salvo on offense, that feels totally like Anakin to me, and that's great. But combined with the fact that you can double salvo, and you're getting an extra die on those salvos, makes Anakin insane. Just this second ability here on the card alone would have been great. Maybe he should have even been more than 29 points with only that ability. Maybe. But adding the top ability was really good. And then the rules for a double salvo on top of that just makes him insane. So there's a lot of lists that are running Republic that are using Anakin right now. It almost seemed like it was going to be rock, scissors, paper, with Sloane being maybe the most obvious counter to Anakin. And the reason he's such a problem, because he's so aggressively victorious. Like, he's winning everything so much that he's oppressive, I guess is the word for him. That it's forced a lot of people to, like, if you're not running Anakin, you're running a list that's prepared to deal with Anakin. From a competitive standpoint, you must deal with Anakin or be Anakin. There's like almost no in between. Nobody just brings a list anymore. I'm saying this facetiously, because obviously you can still do that, and I will still sometimes bring a list that just says, I don't care if Anakin's there or not. I'm just gonna fly what I want to fly. That's kind of how the game used to be, but now it's really transforming into to have a competitive list. You either have to be Anakin or be prepared to deal with Anakin. And this means Imperial lists all have to run Palpatine now. And Imperial lists are on the rise, since the Empire has the most ways to counter Anakin, with Palpatine as an officer and then Sloane as a commander. So either one of those or both are really good options. They're not the only options, but they're very, very popular options. And the problem is there's Anakin lists that can disregard Sloane as well. So, and it was supposed to be that Draven was going to be the counter to Sloane, because Draven also came out for Rebels with General Draven with Rapid Reinforcements 3. But Draven was nerfed into being completely unusable with the way the rules questions were answered for him. So you don't even have rock, scissors, paper. You just have Anakin and anything that hopefully can counter Anakin. Or if you face Anakin in a tournament, you just run and take a 6-5, and hopefully that player doesn't have enough victory points to make it to the cut or something like that. So I feel like it's completely ruined the way people bring lists, and really the way people play the game. And so I feel like, but at the same time, I feel like Anakin can still be fun as long as he wasn't so oppressive. And so I'm going to be kind of building a list that's going to use Anakin, but maybe not going all in with Anakin. What I mean by that is maybe having a strong Venator, or maybe having half of your list kind of use Anakin, and the other half not. Like maybe a sub-optimized Anakin Skywalker list that could still get some of the fun of using him without ruining the game for your opponent, right? So that's the idea, and what I want to do today. So I'm going to switch over here, and what we're going to do is I'm going to be using Ryan Kingston's Fleet Builder, and we're going to build a list, and hopefully this will be a fun enough list that that will work and people will enjoy. We're going to go with an 800 point list today. You could probably cut this in half, but I'm planning to do some larger builds. So since it's an 800 point list, I can fit a lot more stuff in there. I could run a whole bunch of Venators, and just be a completely oppressive Anakin list. But I'm just going to run 2 Venators in this. I'm going to run a Venator 2 and a Venator 1. And the idea here is I do want at least 2 ships. I want the tip of the spear to be Anakin. So I'm going to put Anakin on the Venator 2. I'm going to give it local fire controls. That's going to give it a second salvo. Again, it's a thing you kind of need. Having 2 salvos is really, really good on Anakin. I am going to give it flak guns, which is right there. It means that my black dice can now go up to medium range. It's just beautiful, beautiful shot. I'll always have at least 3 when I'm salvoing, because you can get a red and 2 blue, or a red to blue and 1 more of your choice at long range, and then you get everything at medium range. I'll go with thermal shields for our defensive retrofit, and I'll go with external racks, because we are going to try and get in close, and I'm going to put the DB-827 heavy turbo lasers. My salvos, I can change a die to a crit, so it means I'm always going to have a black crit on those salvos. Again, this is so crucial with Anakin. You can always add an extra die. You're almost always getting a blag, so you're probably almost always getting 2 blag. So it means you're going to have such a low damage floor and a high damage ceiling. It's beautiful. And since this is my flagship, I'm going to use the Tranquility title, which allows me to basically get redirects for free, and is great defense for a Venator. Now, for the Venator 1, I'm going to do a lot of the same stuff, not exactly the same, but we're going to have local fire control. Also want the extra salvo in there. I'm going to add intensify firepower, just a great ability to have, and we'll add Hondo Anaka on there too, so we can get some extra token love just in case. But that'll be helpful. We'll go with flak guns on this ship as well, and also external racks and the DB-827s. So we've got the 2 Venators. I'm not going to add any more Venators than that. I do have a third, but I'm not going to go ultra heavy with Venators because, well, frankly, I'm not trying to be super crazy. So we're going to add some other stuff. We will have some other ships that have salvo, but they're not going to be optimized for Anakin. And then we're also going to put some ships that don't have salvo at all. Completely unoptimized for this list, but just for, maybe to have just a more well-rounded, less oppressive fleet. Because Anakin's too strong. I don't want the whole list to be like crazy strong. I want it to be a fun list. So we're going to do a victory 1. And, I don't get to run these as often. And this one's just going to be a black die heavy victory. Taking advantage of the multiple black dice. I'm going to put expanded launchers in here. And then I'm going to put external racks. And that's it. We're just going to go with a plain old victory. Now, if you're running this, you could easily put engine techs on here. It's probably a good idea. But I ran out of points, and that was one of the things that I had to cut for my plan for this list. And again, this is an 800-point list, so we can afford to have some stuff that's unoptimized and is just fun for thematics. Also, because it's an 800-point list, I wanted to have some ships that are of every type, just to add visual beauty on the battlefield. That's an important thing for me. We're going to add an Acclimator 2, also good with the black dice. We're going to, let me start with the swivel mounts, which I really like this on the Acclimator 2. Swivel mount, you have you have the black die on the side with the swivel mounts, and the beautiful thing about that is that it's going to give you a black die in the front, even at long range, which is super fun. Now, swivel mounts, I like to put assault concussions on these guys, so those at long range maybe I get that awesome crit effect. You can do 2 different things here. Gunnery team is actually a pretty good option on the Acclimator 2, but I'm going to go with Ordnance Expert because I'll probably concentrate fire a lot. They're both good options, but I wanted to be able to have the rerolls and the black dice because I want to fish for those crits, and that's a fun one to do. So so we've got a lot of larger ships. It's time to put some smaller ships in. We're going to start off with a Pelta, and I'm going to do a Pelta Medical Frigate. This one does not have any way to synergize with Anakin. So this one is just there for a little bit of fleet balance, because I'm going to put a couple squadrons in here too. We're going to have some fighters. I'm going to put Bomber Command Center on there. Again, trying to be a little bit sub-optimized just for a little bit of balance in this fleet. Because I did a video a while back about, let's play a game that my opponent is going to enjoy as well. I'll put a Consular Armed Cruiser in there. This one, it has good anti-squadron dice. Right? The Consulars, it's a cheap activation, but it's got really good flak. That's one of its best uses, is as an anti-squadron ship. And that's going to work great. I'm going to put 3 Charger C-70s in this list. No upgrades at all on them. Boom, boom. So we've got a lot of ships right now. We've got 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 ships. That brings me to 676 points. And the rest is going to go into squadrons, which are always fun. I'm going to put Ahsoka Tano in there. She may not be the most optimized for this, but I like her. And she's also thematic to go with Anakin. We're going to put some ARCs, some ARC 170s in there. I'll put 3 of those. They have bomber, so they wanted some stuff to synergize with my Bomber Command Center. We'll put a couple of Y-Wings, just regular Y-Wings. Nothing too crazy, nothing too techy or too meta-ish. And I'm going to put 3 V-19s for some escorts and to keep enemy fighters off of my bombers. And so we got a decent little squadron presence. 124 points. This is a little bit less than what you could fit in a 400-point list. It's an 800-point list. It's not too many squadrons. It's not going to slow the game down too much, but it's a respectable amount, kind of a mid-squadron presence. So I think if we were doing something like this on a 400-point list, it would be, maybe the 1 big Venator, a couple of squadrons, and then maybe some other ships that, don't necessarily exploit Anakin's ability as much. As far as objectives for this one, I'll go with surprise attack. People never really want to choose surprise attack. That one's always interesting. I'm going to go with capture the VIP. This is an interesting one we don't see get taken very often, and it can give great use to those little consulars that might want to. I might want to take one of those Consular C-70s, have it pick up the VIP, and then fly away. And I'm going to go with an oldie, but a seldom used one, Dangerous Territory. I've always liked Dangerous Territory, but I usually don't take it often because chances are, if you're facing a rebel and they have Jaina's Light, then they'll love Dangerous Territory because they get an advantage on that one. But it in an 800-point list, when I've got a lot of ships, more likely to be overlapping obstacles, so that one's actually pretty good as the points go up because it saves me a lot of damage on my ships. So I thought that's a fun one. And that's an 800-point list there, folks. So I want to hear some of your thoughts. What do you guys think? And yeah, let's keep the discussion going. Let me know down in the comment section. Also, join our Discord. We got a great family-friendly Discord. Let me know your thoughts on Anakin Skywalker. Is he just broken? How would you fix him? And do you think in the interim, somebody that I've always wanted to play, do you think it's viable to bring a really strong commander in a maybe only half optimized list in a way to still have the fun of being able to play them without trying to cave to the meta and be, super oppressive? That's some of my thoughts on still how to be able to run a really cool guy like Anakin without it being super nasty. Go ahead and let me know what you guys think. I want to thank you guys so much for watching. Big thanks to my patrons. You guys are absolutely amazing and help make this whole channel possible. Thank you for your continued support. I will talk to you later. May the force be with you. Live long and prosper. Be excellent to each other always. Wash your socks and have a great day.